My name is Rachelle Dené Poth. I am a Spanish and STEAM educator, also an attorney and a consultant and an author. I love learning. I've always loved learning and education, and so I'm always thrilled to get out to conferences and share things that I'm doing in my classroom, things that I'm learning for my students. And as a language educator primarily, I realized that not all of my students are going to go on to become Spanish teachers or to major in Spanish. And so because of that, a couple of years ago, I decided I needed to do some things differently in my classroom. And that involved getting out of my own way, basically, and taking some risks in doing things differently and in realizing that I didn't have to be the expert. And so what that came down to was diving into some things like emerging technologies and embracing things like augmented and virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and helping my students to use different tools and technologies to talk about those things in my classroom, to realize I didn't have to be the expert to start doing that in my classroom and to dive in. And I think the biggest lesson that I've learned is, one, I don't have to be the only person that's teaching in the classroom. I won't have all of the answers. And over the last probably 6 or almost 7 years now, the more that I've taken chances in the class, bringing some things in and getting some pushback from students actually as well in my Spanish class is what really pushed me to get into some of the augmented and virtual reality with them. And what I love to talk about the most are things that I think are going to impact students and definitely educators in the future and as of now, of course, too. And so every chance that I can get out there and share what we're doing, to learn more, to help other educators to get started, because it's not easy. I, for years, thought I had to do something a certain way, that I had to have a certain level of experience, and I realized I don't. The only thing that was stopping me was me, and by not taking advantage of opportunities that were out there, I was limiting my students. And so in the past at least 5 years in my Spanish class, we've used augmented virtual reality for learning, and it's really been engaging for them. They've been excited about it. It's exciting to see how they create with the language in different ways. Also knowing that the future holds a lot that we don't know about yet. And for students to learn Spanish, yes, that's important for me, but I also want them to have an opportunity to learn about these things. Artificial intelligence is an area I've been fascinated by, teaching, writing about it, presenting on it for about 5.5 years now. And in language classes, Google Translate has been around. And so I've used it as lessons with my students. To not tell them don't use this, but to see like, what can we do with this? What are the benefits of it? What are the concerns we should have with it? And so for me, the biggest thing that I get excited about is any chance I can get out there and learn something new, bring it back to my classroom, see what the students do with it, because sometimes I'll say to them, you know what, I don't really know how this is going to go, or here's what I think we should do. Let's try it. What did you learn from it? What do you see as the benefits? And then just engage in conversation. But if I would have been able to do that years ago, or if I would have thought of doing that years ago, it's interesting to think what changes I might have made back then. But the best I can do now is just to keep embracing all of the changes that are happening in education and with technology and all of these trends, and provide opportunities for my students to, yes, learn Spanish, but also to prepare them for the future as best as I can.